Hey guys, it's GiJoe here and welcome back to the bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. Exciting day today. The Bloodbath 1940 cards have arrived. I ordered these off of makingplayingcards.com. Sired was kind enough to share the file with Matt Todd, I believe, and got it uploaded into makingplayingcards.com. And so we have a beautiful card here made of plastic. And so I wanted to go over these cards with you because there are some new national objectives for certain nations. So first of all, let me say that I will post the link to makingplayingcards.com down below in the description. And you can order a set of these. I think the cost was around $30 for a set. And you get 90 cards with all the national objectives plus political situations, plus 2 sets of rules. So let's actually take a look at this. So first thing you'll notice, if I flip the cards over, is the cards are all labeled 1 of 90. This is a 90 card deck. So this is 1 of 90, this is 2 of 90, etc. Well, up until card number 34, you have 2 sets of rule cards. The first set goes up to card 17, right? And then on card 18, it starts the rule set all over. So 1 to 17 is a set of rules. 18 to 34 is a set of rules. And it's not every single rule in the book, but this is at least the high points, right? So each card deck will come with 2 turn sequences, unit statistics, research and development cards. You have your Axis victory scorecard. And something that's interesting here on this next version of Bloodbath is you can see all the cities up here that are listed. Tokyo, Rio de Janeiro, all this is the same, right? I don't think there's anything new here. World Oil, what is different in this version is World Oil 1, you have to have control 4 of 11 oil territories. That's not different. World Oil 2, you have to have 8 of 11, okay, as opposed to 7 of 11. The Atlantic Wall is still 5 land units in each territory there. The South Africa is owning a unit of South Africa and Southwest Africa. Resources, there are more resources added to the map, but you still only have to control 3 of them. Okay, you can look at my map video if you want to see what those resources are, but they're essentially Siberia and Manchuria. That's 2. Then you have one in Tibet, which is 3. You have one in Urals, which is 4. You have one in, let's see, where is it? Down in Ukraine, which is 5. And then you have 2 more over on the western side of the map, but that's not what this video is about. South Asia, of course, is the same point. Imperial is the same, although it is the dollar amount has been increased to 55 on the income tracker rather than 52 for the Japan Imperial point. China, all Chinese marked territories, that's the same, although the map is different. So when it says all Chinese marked territories, it's the ones that have the big Chinese roundel on it. Not like Fujian counts, but not right here, Kiansu. Okay, even though this has a little Chinese roundel on it, that means if this territory was liberated, it would go back to China, but it starts as Japan. So if you were to take this territory, that does not count as taking away the China point, nor does taking Manchuria. So essentially the China point only consists of the territories, like the territories that have the big Chinese roundel on it, okay? So that's essentially nothing on the coast except for Fujian. Fujian is the only coastal territory, okay? So anyways, back to this. So that's the China Okay, Africa Horn is the same. The Mediterranean is the same. Pacific Islands, it is controlling 5 of U.S. Commonwealth or U.K. Pacific Islands, not just 4. The Reich, of course, is still at 70. Then there are 2 interesting victory points added. One is genocide, which means you have eliminated all units of an allied power. Everything, naval, air, and land units. So be careful, China, and be careful, France. That's all, you know, be very, very careful there. And then, of course, strict neutrals is if the Axis control 5 of the 9 strict neutral countries. So that's the victory conditions. Of course, you have combined arms, you have naval blockade, target selection, anti-aircraft. Nothing here has really changed. Amphibious assault, scramble, railway, bombing raid, submarines, transports, convoy disruptions, and air transports. So nothing has really changed, if I'm not mistaken, on the rest of those. So you'll get 2 sets of rules. Now, let me say this from the start. For those of you who are watching this that might be attending the Bloodbath tournament here in about, 2 or 3 weeks? At the end of September. These card decks are not going to be provided at the tournament. Again, let me say this again. If you are attending the tournament here in Atlanta at Sired's place at the end of this month in September 2024, these card decks will not be provided. Sired is no longer doing that. Now, the reason being, you may ask, he spent a lot of money on buying cards and card decks, and for 8, 6, 7, 8 tables, and I don't think a single card deck was left intact after last year's. I mean, there were cards missing. Some of them have entire nations' national objectives missing. As you can tell, each card is labeled, 1 to 90. And so if you have a missing card in a card deck, the card deck is useless. So he is no longer providing the card decks at the tournaments. So this is my card deck, so I'll be bringing it. But you are going to need to do your own preparation for the national objectives. That doesn't mean you need to go and buy this card deck. You can if you wish. Again, at makingplayingcards.com, which I'll put the link in. But you don't have to. There is currently a free download on Discord. And if you are attending the tournament, chances are you already know about Discord. But I'll put a link below as well. And you will have to either download these onto your device and have an electronic copy. You maybe print them from your own printer and bring some paper, like for instance, I took the setup charts that Sired Blood provided for free, and I just printed them on paper. So I've got my own set of setup charts. It cost me nothing, absolutely nothing, other than the ink cartridge and the paper to print, which I already had that anyway. So I will say again, these card decks will not be provided. So if you show up to the tournament and you do not have some way of knowing what the national objectives are for each country, that is on you. So either buy this deck, which you don't have to, or download the free file, bring an electronic version of the free file on your phone or iPad, or simply print it off on paper, okay? So I want to make sure that's clear. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the discussion on the new national objectives. So we'll go through each country here as quick as possible. Germany, the political situation is the same. Just a reminder that if the Allies capture Berlin, the Axis must regain Berlin by or on Germany's next turn. So, for instance, if the Allies take Berlin on, well, think about this. If the Allies take Berlin on Russia 5, Germany goes next, which means they have to take it on Germany 6. If not, game is automatically over. Okay, so that's that. I don't think this is any different. $3 if Germany controls any of the Iran, Iraq, or Caucasus. 5 if they control London. 3 if they have a land unit in Egypt or Al Alamein. That's the same. This is a slight change. This used to be 5 This is still this is an out-of-box Axis and Allies objective, but SARD has increased it to 7 rather than 5. If controlling Denmark and Sweden, or Norway, while Sweden is neither pro-allied or allied. This $5 NO is the same for controlling these territories. Same armistice national objective. Same 5 submarine national objective for Germany. And this one is a $2 increase. So originally it used to be a +5 for not being at war with the Soviet Union. Now it's +7. And then, of course, this is the same national objective for Germany. If they're at war with Italy, then they get +2. All right, so let's go to Russia. Now, Russia, the big thing about Russia is right here. If any of the Soviet Union may declare war on any European axis on round 3, if any of the following stipulations has happened. 1 is Japan has declared war on the Soviet Union. 2, the Axis powers have taken control of Madrid. And 3, more than 10 Axis units are on the Eastern Front, which is Poland, Romania, and Hungary. So if any of these conditions are met, Soviet Union may declare war on round 3, okay? That hasn't changed from last year, or the last 2 years, actually, I think. The Siberian Rail is still the same. Soviet Lend-Lease. This is a little bit different here. The concept is the same, but you'll see that there is a third opportunity, and that is through the Middle East, through Iran. But what happens is, once the Soviet Union is at war, they can pick 2 of these 3 to roll dice for. They cannot roll for all 3. So they can either roll for Europe, Pacific, or the Middle East. And as you can see, Iran, right here, Iran, there is a Lend-Lease icon here. And the same conditions apply where if there's an allied ship there that breaks up the Lend-Lease, you'll roll for it to determine whether or not that happens. But most likely, if the allies are blocking one of the territories, Russia will roll, if the Axis are blocking one of the territories, Russia will roll dice on the other 2, okay? All right, so that's the Lend-Lease. Other than that, nothing has really changed. Soviet Mongolian defense, that is the same. Soviet mobile production, that is the same. Okay, this is a little bit different. Soviet Union, I think this was the same from last year. So one-time payment of 7 IPCs if they liberate Manchuria. I think it used to be 10. That is the same for controlling Siberia, Urals, and Ukraine. This +5 is the same. This +2 is the same. So other than that, everything else is the same for the Soviet Union. Okay, let's go to Japanese national objectives. As far as the political situations, they are the same. Keep in mind that in the event that the Allies capture Tokyo, kind of the same stipulation as Berlin, the Axis must regain Tokyo by or on Japan's next turn. If they fail to retake Tokyo, the game is immediately ended. So for instance, if Russia takes Tokyo on, I know Russia's not going to take Tokyo, but let's say if U.S. or the United Kingdom take Tokyo on whatever turn. Hold on, Emily. Then whatever turn 5, then they have to take it by Japan 6. Otherwise, the game's automatically over. Kamikaze rule is the same. Soviet Mongolian defense is the same. Japan, if they capture Calcutta, one-time payment of $10. Same $3 increase if they control any of the following territories. That should not be any different. $5 national objective for controlling Calcutta, Sydney, and or San Francisco. This is the same for the oil money islands down there, +3. +10 still for the Chinese marked territories, if you control all of them. And just so you know, that would be these. That would not include this, I don't believe. All right. Sorry about that. My daughter yelling down to me. So this is an interesting thing. If you're not at war with the United States and you had not attacked French Indochina, you're going to get, and you have not annexed Thailand, and you've not made any unprovoked attacks, it's a +15. This used to be 10. Now it's +15. So that's a huge bonus for Japan. That's $5 increase over I think last year's. All right, so now let's go to the United States. United States. So political situation is the same. The major difference, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Political situation is the same. You get +2 for if they control any of these following Japanese territories. I won't read all those to you, but you can see. I think that's the same as last year. +3 if you have at least 2 land units in Casablanca, Operation Torch. +10 if you're no longer neutral. And then +1 for every territory that the United States owns that was original, which is, they start off with 15. So essentially, if they're at war and they've lost nothing, then they'd get +15. If Japan strikes first and they say they take the Philippines and Guam, they would not get, they would collect 13 because they would be down Guam and down the Philippines. Okay, now here is, this is the same as last year, and this is a one-time payment. If the United States is brought into the war on turn 1, they get no bonus in addition to the others. If they're brought in on turn 2, they get +15, one-time payment. If they're brought in to the war on turn 3 or higher, it's a +30. So, you know, Japan has to decide what's more important, keeping them out and giving them more money, or bringing them in early and keeping money from them. And of course, you have the same +5 for having a land unit in France or Normandy, Bordeaux. All right, so let's look at the China situation. Sorry, these cards are really plastic and they slip and slide all over the place. China, I think China is about the same, if not mistaken. You see all the same China unit statistics. Notice here that tanks are 5, and cavalry are 4, artillery 4 as well. Now, here is the big one. Normally, we're used to having the Burma Road, where they get +6 if they control the Burma Road. But if you'll notice right here, on the new map, there is no way for Japan to cut the Burma Road on turn 1. In fact, there's not even a way for them to really cut it on, well, yeah. So they're not going to cut it on turn 1. So rather than give them an easy $6 bonus there for the Burma Road, what Cyrod has done, which I think is really good, is China will get a +2 for every 3 territories they control. So in other words, if at the end of round 1, let's say Japan takes whatever territories they take, China has 9, and then China counters, and they have 9 territories. They have 9, so they control 9 territories. Let's say they control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's 8. They would get whatever their IPC tracker is, plus since they own 8 territories, they would get an additional $4. $2 for the first 3, $2 for the second 3, and then they're just out of luck on the last 2 territories, if that makes sense. I like this a lot. This actually allows China to be collecting more money towards the middle and end of the game than they would normally collect. So I like that. That's a good change. All right, so here we go. With the United Kingdom, we have a one-time payment of $8 if immediately if Portugal has become allied, and that's immediately. Immediately goes in the bank. It's not at the end of their turn. So let's say that Portugal becomes allied if the Axis rather attack Spain. So if they attack anything in Spain, then of course we know that all Portugal is then immediately all those units pop up as British, and British automatically get $8 put into their coffers. This is the same, +5 if they're at war in Europe and they control these territories. This is the same if they're at war with Japan, they control these territories. This is not out of box, by the way, because it used to be Hong Kong, but that was just too easy to take away. So it makes Japan work a little bit more to take away this national objective. +2 if United Kingdom controls Iran or Iraq. All right, so that's United Kingdom. And then, of course, Italy. Same thing for national objectives or for political situation. +5 if they control 3 of the following, which are those 4 ports in the Mediterranean. Vichy is South France. +5 if there are no warships in the Mediterranean. Now, don't be confused by the sea zones A30 to A37. You may be used to hearing those, labeled as sea zone 90, whatever, 95 to 99 or whatever it is. Those just are relabeled. Sorry. You can see those are just relabeled sea zones. So like A30, 31, A32, A33, A34, A35. So it's just relabeled sea zones. All right. So A for Atlantic, P for Pacific. I covered that on my map video. +5 if war with the Allies if they control all of the following territories, which is essential all of North Africa. +3 for these territories, that's all the same. This is all the same, +1 if you control these territories. And then of course, +2 if they're at war with Axis, if Italy, Rome flips and they control these. And if they're at war with the Axis, they control the original territories. I think that's original to BBR. And then the last one, I believe, is the Commonwealth. We still have +3 if they have 5 naval warships on the surface warships. So that would not include submarines, nor carriers. So basically destroyer, battleship, and cruisers. Still have this +3 if they control these territories. And if none of these are Axis controlled and they're at war. +1 per territory if they control anything that was originally Axis or pro-Axis. And of course you have the France situation. So that is essentially the new card deck. Not tons of changes in national objectives. If you have been keeping up with BBR over the last couple of years, I think the biggest thing is probably the China deal. And then the increase in Germany getting +7 for the Denmark and and the +7 for not being at war with Russia. But these are sweet cards. Look at this. Look at that artwork. That's just fantastic. And of course, he mimicked that artwork on this beautiful map. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, this is the cards. These are the cards. And I want to once again reiterate, I will put down in the description a link to makingplayingcards.com where you can order these cards if you wish. Also, I'll put a link to Discord, and once again, a reminder to anyone planning on attending the BBR tournament, Bloodbath 1940, here at the end of September 2024, you will not be provided a card deck. So if you have your own, bring it, or you can purchase it from makingplayingcards.com. But you don't have to, so please, no comments of complaining that forcing you to spend money. No, it's not forcing you to spend money. Print off the free download that Sired has graciously offered to us at no charge. Okay? If you just want to print this card deck on a bunch of paper, in fact, you don't even have to do that. If you don't even want to spend money on an ink cartridge or a printer, if you don't have a printer, you don't have paper, you don't want to spend money on a printer, we're not forcing you to go get a printer. All you have to do is save the file as a PDF and put it on your phone and use it as a digital card deck. All right. So anyways, I hope this helps. This is a beautiful card deck with beautiful artwork. And once again, thanks to Sired Blood for all his work he's done for the community. And for those of you who are going to be at the tournament here in about 2 or 3 weeks, wish you safe travels and hope to see you there. It's truly going to be a bloodbath.